Morning guys, another cold one. As you probably guessed, I didn't get back yesterday. So this should be 51 now. I'll make it video 51. I haven't edited anything yesterday because once we went home from lunch, I just didn't feel very good at all. So I still don't feel that great now, but I feel a little bit better than I did yesterday. In some aspects I don't, because I sound croaky and shitty. And even the missus is croaky and crappy and gas. We're all feel like shit basically. That stupid light out of your face. So yeah, I'll come back here and do a bit more, see how I go by the time I get to lunchtime and see how I feel. But I feel like if I don't feel any worse than what I do now, I'll come back and do another hour or so. But anyway, so yesterday I was sort of working, this is sort of one of the last things I was sort of working this around here and some pieces. So to start off, that actually fitted, well, I was trying to get it the same sort of shape as what it was sort of through here, and it's pretty close. If I hold this on here, anyway, so I run that around there, all the way around to about there, where actually the whole thing changes shape. It's actually pretty close. A little bit of body filler and stuff like that, you'll never see it, and it's never going to be horrendously thick or stupid or anything, so I'm quite happy with that. So a couple little spots and bits and pieces I want to weld up, a couple little cracks, like some little bits like in here, if you can see that, just little things, a few little pieces like that. I just want to weld, tidy up, just make sure it's strong. Yeah, and then I'll guess I'll pull the other one off and start doing that. And then at some point, either today or tomorrow or whatever, I'll have to strip all that front end stuff off and just retest fit these again. The other thing I'll probably do when I weld these couple of cracks up, I'll just retest that main bracket back in here and just make sure that is fitting still, because I've never really had it bolted into that hole where I re-drilled the other day. So yeah, but apart from that, I'm pretty happy. Might be a little bit of dialing in later on, but at this point I'm fairly happy. Like, I could keep going, but I think it's without making some slightly better suited tools, sort of chase myself, you know what I mean? So yeah, like I could shape a bit of hardwood and put up and behind here so I could help dolly it and a few things like that. But yeah, I don't think there's any great point. You know, I'll try and get it a little bit better and stuff later on, but for now, I think I'm pretty happy with it. And like as I said, you know, with just a thin smear of mud across the whole thing. But I don't think it's you know, it's 100 years old, or basically, like, I don't think there's any point chasing every little imperfection, because you're just going to spend hours, whereas you get it really, really close, you can still feel that little bump, but it's not that, like, it's hardly anything, it's just, you can just feel it underneath your hand, if you know what I mean, like without going bang, bang, bang. It's just, you can just feel the heights, just a little bit of height changes every now and again. Like it's not dead perfect, but it's, the shapes are all there, you know, and they're all where they should be, within reason, obviously. So yeah, like a skim of body filler and a little bit of sanding, which might take you a couple hours, is better than spending another whole day or a day and a half chasing every little mark, for the sake of, you know, that much body filler in the little low spots, you know. So, and if there is any little spots that are a little high, when we do put the mud on, we can go along and we can just tap the old little spot down if it needs it, you know what I mean? Like if it's really poking up, we can just knock it down. So, anyway, I'll get welding some of these cracks up and yeah, we'll carry on. Righty. So, as you would have just seen in the last little piece, I just went around with a marker just to pinpoint the worst pieces I can see for a start off. Like I can see more, but this has had damage in it. You can see where it's been creased. Actually, it goes right up through here, across here, and here. So this has all been crushed and bent. It's been straightened, but it hasn't been straightened 100%, if you know what I mean. These marks and dents in here. This is all the stuff that I can just, with a quick initial rub over my hand, I can feel. It's actually a little bit, you can actually see it there. It's not bad, but I like it. Actually needs work in here too. Here obviously where it was creased and bent. And it needs a little bit in here because it's actually, as you rub your hand over it, it's got like a low piece in here, and then it's come back up high. It mightn't need much. It doesn't actually feel that bad, but you can feel it. You know what I mean? So it just needs a little bit of massaging. It's a bit of a dent in there. Needs a little bit of work along that edge where it's been obviously just beaten at some point, and it's like it's had the repairs done. So Might need a little bit of work up here, but I'll do that later on. Just needs a little bit of dolling around here just to make this a little bit nicer. A lot of this is sort of seen but not seen. So like I'll address this at some point and just give it a little bit of a clean up and dolly out. But that's pretty good. Yeah, and then obviously just later on check for cracks and whatever else. But that's sort of the initial stuff that I can see that needs major attention. And just try and get it a lot straighter and beat on some of the humps and bumps that you can see where this is like high here and low in here, and it's beaten to pus in here. If I flip it over, it's even worse, because you can sort of see where it's been repeated and cut and wound and split. And I'll just get back around the other way. So you can see where all this has been redone. It's bent through here. It's obviously been split and broken here. So yeah, I would just like to get that nicer, see if I can get this edge bent round a bit better, just get the shape better through there. And that was the back of a dent that I could see, because it's got like a little high spot there, so I just marked it. If I ever turn it over and just hammer it on the back or whatever like that. But yeah, that needs a bit of work. Like it's pretty beaten and bashed, but it's not a horrible guard. Like it's not as though all the rust stuff that was in it has been repaired. Let's had the bottom of this replaced. Had the back of that replaced at some point. You can see where they've joined that in, and they've actually done a pretty reasonable sort of job. But yeah, it just needs finishing, hammering, bit of clean up. And just double check, maybe put a little bit extra weld in a few spots just to give it a wee bit more guts type sort of thing. Check it for splits and cracks. Dress up some of the stuff where it's been repaired, because it's got wire in it, like around all these edges, so a lot of it, I don't think it's actually broken, it just needs a bit of a dress up and clean up. And obviously straighten that edge, get that nice and so it flows nice and straight, because you can actually see it goes like that and it goes so like it needs straightened around through there so it's nice and uniform. It's tucks back in right at that sort of corner where it transitions to where it goes around into the running board area. You can see it's sort of tucked over a little bit, so that either needs to come out or whatever like that, just straighten up nicely. So yeah, and you can see like where all the shiny pieces where I've run over it with the DA, you can see what's high, so like it just needs a little bit of, a lot of it's not that really that bad, like it just needs run over with a hammer and dolly in a few spots just to even it back out. Here's probably not that bad, because it's probably meant to have a wee bit of shape in there. So, but yeah, it just needs trued up. You can see how looks a bit flat here and rolls around. It's probably not too bad. Just make sure there's no sudden, like here, that needs hammered back or rolled over or something like that, just to get, when we stretch that out, that might come back, because it's flat through there. So when we bring this piece out, that'll help bring that down. Things like that. So I'll get to it, I guess. Kind of don't feel like it. Actually, I decided I'm going to have a sit down for 5 minutes. I still don't, not really that good. I wouldn't say I'm like really, really crook, but I'm not that great either, if you know what I mean. Like if I was at a workplace and there was lots of people around, it might be the sort of time to go home, but like I don't feel that bad to be here by myself, you know what I mean? Like I'm not infecting anybody else, unless somebody else comes around, but so I just keep plugging away. But yeah, the old body's just not what it should be. Hopefully I'll be alright by the weekend, because I'll desperately like to catch up with my cousin before he goes through freaking chemo, and his brother. too, because I think his brother's back off on Saturday, I think. He may come back. I would say he probably will come back, but he's got to shoot home and do some work, catch up on a bit of stuff. I'm thinking he can probably come back for another wee while, you know, to check up on his brother, obviously. But yeah, and hopefully my other mate that's over from Perth, I'll catch up with him the next day or two, hopefully too, if I don't feel too bad. I don't want to make him a crook either, which is a pain in the ass. Colds. Kids that come home with colds and stuff like that, eh? Anyway. I'll catch you later on. When I'm beating again. Righty, so I'm getting this. This had quite a wave in it. It's coming right. It must have been quite sort of low down through there, so like it was actually pushed sort of that way because it was low. And I think this is the same here too. It's got to come up and across, if you know what I mean. But what I might do is I think I've got another hammerhead that at home, one that I made. It's got quite a large head on it, but I think I might just have a little bit more distance off here than these. I haven't got a handle on it, but I can soon make a handle because this is working really well. But it would be nice to have something that I can get up in here that's a bit like this, and that it's got a nice big round flat head on. Because yeah, just because of this deep edge, you can't get in there, if you know what I mean. Like you're sort of struggling with this because you can't, like right in the centre you sort of can, but it's almost like it's hitting so that you're not quite flat, if you know what I mean. You're more kicked up, so it's not ideal. If I had a bit more distance and a head, you can probably get in there. That one there is not quite so bad because the handle's a little bit shorter, so you can pull it around a little bit. And I domed that one there a bit more the other day, just so it was a wee bit more domed. So yeah, I've got this big funny looking thing that I made. I'm pretty sure it's got a bit more distance in it. I'll bring the head back, even if I modify it, I don't care. I'm just trying to see if it's I can get a bit more, make it a bit more usable for in here.
But yeah, we'll get there. It's still a bit high here. It feels like it's high here and maybe low because that's not quite uniform, but we'll get there. But that's a damn sight better than it was before because that was quite over. It was, well, it wasn't, like it was quite noticeable, whereas now it's not quite so noticeable. But yeah, we'll get it. Got a lot of work to do around here and try and get this to come out. It's going to be fun, but we'll get it. We'll keep playing, but I'll go home and have some lunch. See if I can find that at the head maybe and bring it down here and see if it's going to do what I want to do. Otherwise I might make something in the next day or so just so I can get a little bit more into some of these places a little bit easier just with that depth. It's a bit awkward. I can't quite get it in there flat enough, you know what I mean? And like it's all good holding a dolly in behind, but it'd be nice to be able to hit the other way, hit up a few times, you know what I mean? It's all good because you can dolly, like you can put that underneath and you can hit the high spots and try and pull the lows up, but sometimes it's nice to go that other way. You know, you can actually hit some of these lower spots up a little bit first, and then you can come along and plenish it from the top, even if the high spots that are around the low spots are a bit high, then you can actually, with the dolly back in it behind you, you can actually smooth it out a little bit easier. Sometimes I find, sometimes it's easier to hit something up a little bit and then dolly it down flat, or you know, to the right level, the whole lot. So, but yeah, we'll keep working away, and we'll see you after lunch. I'm back, so I thought I'd grab an extra couple bits and pieces from home. Grab Dad's like slapper. That's like a it's like a shrinking sort of type one. It's got that texture on it, which stops it from stretching too far. I just grabbed a couple of other different hammers to try and see if I can help me to get into some of these spots a bit easier. And a couple extra dollies that are a lot of different shapes and bits and pieces. But I thought, if none of that works, we'll bring out the big girl. I'm sure we can do some damage with that if we need to. Because I don't think there'll be any problems getting this in anywhere. Yeah, I think we'll be right with that. So like spots like this, you can turn along. I think that'll work quite nicely if I need it. But yeah, I think I might try this slightly smaller. I might try this one first. It's not as rounded as I'd like, but it might be better just to get into some of these spots. I don't have to try and fight so much. This one here is good, but it'd be nice just to have a slightly wider hitting spot. And yeah, it would be nice if it did have a wee bit more shape in it, but it might be alright for just going this way across that guard, because it is curved that way. Might be able to do some of these things. It's not quite so restricted by the handle. So yeah, I've got a few toys here to play with. So I'll carry on. After we straighten the camera up a bit. Righty guys, so I'm about finished for the day. Again, I still haven't touched this piece or this down in here yet. Not that this needs a lot. This piece here, which you just seen me wiring up, basically what I was trying to do is I tried to build up where the edge was disappeared and try to build it back up so I can, at some point I can dress it up and make it look like the original inner edge. That's kind of what I was doing, plus it had split there where it had been repaired. Would I try to bash it back out this way and flip it back over. Check what I mean? Yeah, so what I was trying to do, because this was all eaten away back to here, I was just trying to build it up so eventually I can dress it up and make it look like this edge. So just try to put a bit of material on there to help with that. I'll probably come back along there later on and probably put a bit more in there and just dress it up a bit nicer. But yeah, so that's what I was doing there, if you're wondering. Just trying to build that edge back up. But the rest of it's not bad. I'll need to double check for cracks and stuff like that and probably go over a few things and just obviously just do a little bit extra here and there. But it's pretty much just these little back pieces now. Just got to go over, and that's that fairly well roughed in. I think good enough for a test fit for both these guards. Once I do those couple of bits and pieces and just check for cracks anywhere else, but I think I'm at the point I'm good enough to bolt them back on with those brackets and bits and pieces, and obviously take the stuff off, bolt it back, everything back on, and have a good look and just make sure everything is still fit and square and all that sort of things. And when I've been hammering and dialing, I haven't changed shapes and heights and lots of stuff, and then I can work out the obviously to open these holes back up where it's been repaired, and same on these valance pieces, like get all the holes drilled in here and chop off what's not necessary and all those sorts of things, you know. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah, because there's quite a bit of extra material on these pieces in places. I've got a funny suspicion there's a couple of spots I might have to actually add a little bit of sheet metal, but that is what it is. So yeah, that'll be tomorrow's job, I think. It's probably only, no, a little bit, probably 20 minutes or so, maybe or less, just buggering around here, just finishing off these last little bits, and just have a quick check for some cracks, and just have a quick general look over and just make sure there's nothing else I've sort of missed for the initial first put back in shape, if you know what I mean, at least, and then I can sit it back in the car and I can have a good look, stare around them and see if anything looks weird to eye. That's one of the big things. It's what it looks like to the eye is probably the big thing, and then obviously how it feels for if I've missed anything. You know, so you can dolly it out or whatever, or you can say, well, you know, that's not quite shape. I've got to bring this edge in or out or whatever. I think I've got it fairly straight. It might need just here. It might need pushed in a little, but I think I've got it fairly straight. Yeah, it looks like it might be just a little wide there. So look for all those sorts of things, and then I can mark them all and go back over it again, you know, a second time, and just fix some of those things and just make sure things are fitting right. And you know, especially on that other one where I hammered that all back out flat and all that sort of stuff, make sure that's going to bolt up properly and all those little things, make sure those brackets still fit, and you know. But anyway, we'll catch you later on. Cheers.